As far as history has been recorded, there has been a strong interest in the idea of escaping the grasp of our own minds, and within that is the interest in escaping reality. Dating back to the 1930s, science fiction writer Stanley G. Wenbon predicted the idea of escaping our reality and into a fictional world through holographics, sounds, smells, and touch, all whilst wearing a pair of goggles. Fast forward 26 years, and we have the first known VR, named the Sensorama, had a sound, 3D display, and even a seat. Since then, many more attempts have been developed, including big brands like Sega and Nintendo, making their own versions of escaping reality.
My understanding of the simulation theory is that people believe that we're living in a simulation, and people think that VR might be a way to prove that we are, but I personally believe that it's nonsense.
It's hard to prove, like who has the brain power to prove that this is all an illusion? Because we only think with what's been taught to us, what's around us, so how can we think differently?
I feel like VR has nothing to do with that theory. You know, video games have been around for a while, and just because you're seeing it with your own eyes in like 360, that shouldn't change the way that people are thinking, oh, you know, nothing could be real. But to me, it's completely unrelated. VR's VR, and I don't believe in the theory at all. I use VR to get over my fear of public speaking because I had to do a speech for around 100 people about my company and what I do. And I used a speech simulator to put myself on a stage with just fake people and practice.
I wanted to build a room. A sensory room is a real room, so imagine the room here, but it's full of objects, and it's made for children with communication development issues. So if they can't interact with other people properly, then they get placed in these rooms. But I wanted to make it so it's able to use in any room. So if I make a simulation, then I can make an illusion of this. So I could use this room and use my simulation for a child or anybody with this problem to go inside.
The main issue commonly associated with virtual reality as an immersive system is that it can never achieve true immersion. This is because the user is constantly aware that they are indeed using a VR system, and as a result, know what they are experiencing, no matter how real it may appear, is just a simulation.
If it was as realistic as real life and you couldn't tell, I feel like it would be like a drug sort of thing. People would use it to escape real life. You know, if you're having a bad day, you can put it on and be someone you're not. And that would be amazing, but then it's also about getting there. No computer can process something as powerful as what we experience every day. You know, to be able to make a game or even just an experience that is so realistic, it'll be very, very hard, if not impossible.
At the moment, I don't think there's enough power in the engines and technology to get lost in them because it's too pixelated and too fake. I reckon give it about 10-20 more years and it'll be a lot more real. Like even I use Oculus and I was thinking, wow, it's gonna be amazing, but when I saw even my simulation, it was still quite pixelated, so I was a bit disappointed.
We could create a simulation, but there's no way to prove that we're in one at the moment. I feel like people want there to be something there. They want to make something up just so they can say, oh, look, you know, let's make a big deal out of nothing. I don't see the point.
The whole thing of why do we even exist is still a thing that nobody can prove why we're still on this planet. A lot of people won't believe unless they see it. It's like the whole theory of you can go into how people believe in God and not. Some people need to be proven that it's real, and some people just believe it because they want something to believe in. Like I have higher power to make them feel like they're looked after.
Who knows? That, in my opinion, you know, I don't believe or non-believe, that's what it is, but just live life and stop trying to say it is real or isn't real or whatnot. People always want a reason to believe something to be true, you know, like with religion. There's no real specific evidence. I don't believe in God, but people want to believe and they can believe.
There's a world that they can control, so they can control their happiness, how the world is exactly what they want. Whereas in this world, there's limitations about obviously living, money, everything. Like everything's controlled, but in a world that you can control, you can do whatever you want.
This theory is perpetual, and the evidence to support it is simply unobtainable for the most part, so for now it's just speculation. But it could be said that us humans are trying to comprehend the idea of a better life because the simulation wants us to. Who's to say our world was ever ours to begin with?
If we could achieve that, I'd probably be more for believing it, but until that day comes, I'm still going to believe that there's no proof for the simulation theory.